Have you ever wondered why ordinary people can be manipulated into doing terrible things? Or why some individuals secretly enjoy seeing others fail? The truth is, human psychology isn't just about kindness, motivation, or positivity. It has a dark, hidden side. A side that most people don't talk about, because once you understand it, you'll see the world and the people around you in a very different way. This isn't conspiracy. This is science, history, and psychology. And today, you're going to uncover the truths that they don't want you to know. Stay with me until the end, because the last psychological truth is the most disturbing, and the one that affects your daily life more than you realize. The mask we all wear. Every day, whether we realize it or not, we wear a mask. Not a physical one, but a psychological mask carefully crafted to hide our fears, insecurities, and raw truths from the world. From the moment we wake up and step outside, we put on a version of ourselves designed to be accepted, respected, or admired. This mask helps us fit in at work, maintain relationships, and avoid uncomfortable confrontations. But beneath it lies the authentic self, the person with doubts, flaws, and vulnerabilities that society often teaches us to suppress. The unsettling truth is that almost everyone you meet is performing to some degree, creating an illusion of strength or perfection that may be far from reality. This mask serves a purpose. It protects us. Imagine if we walked around exposing every thought, every weakness, every ounce of fear. Society would be chaotic, and we'd feel constantly judged. The mask is our shield. It allows us to function, to navigate the expectations placed upon us. Think about how often you've smiled in a room when you didn't feel like smiling, or pretended to agree just to avoid conflict. That's the mask in action. It smooths out social interactions, but slowly distances us from who we truly are. Over time, many forget where the mask ends and the real self begins. The dark side of this mask is the hidden cost. By constantly pretending, we begin to feel isolated even in crowded rooms. The authentic self longs to be seen, but fears rejection if revealed. This inner conflict creates stress, anxiety, and even depression. People start to believe their worth is tied only to the mask they present, not to the person behind it. That's why so many individuals who seem successful and confident on the outside quietly struggle on the inside. They've mastered the art of performance, but lost touch with their true identity. Yet, the mask doesn't have to imprison us. Awareness is the first step. Recognizing that everyone wears some kind of mask can be freeing. It levels the playing field. When you see through the illusions of others, you realize you're not alone in your hidden struggles. Slowly, you can choose to remove the mask in safe spaces, with trusted friends, in moments of vulnerability, or even in solitude. Each time you do, you reclaim a piece of yourself. The challenge isn't to abandon the mask entirely. It's unrealistic in a world that thrives on appearances. The challenge is to prevent the mask from becoming your permanent face. To allow your authentic self to shine through when it matters most. True respect, love, and connection don't come from the mask. They come from courageously letting others see who you really are, flaws and all. In the end, the mask we all wear is both a survival tool and a barrier. The secret to freedom lies in learning when to use it and when to take it off. The hidden desire for control. Deep within every human being lies a subtle but powerful urge, the desire to control. It doesn't always show up as manipulation or dominance. Often, it hides behind the smallest choices, the subtle pushes, or even silence. Think about it. When you want a friend to agree with your opinion, when you post something online hoping for likes, or when you expect someone to react in a certain way, you're engaging in a form of control. It's not evil by nature, but it reveals a truth we often ignore. Humans are constantly shaping and reshaping their environments to feel secure, validated, or powerful. The darker side of this truth emerges when the desire for control goes unchecked. It can lead people to gaslight, manipulate, or even dominate others emotionally, financially, or socially. History itself is a reflection of this. Wars, politics, and even personal relationships often center around who gets to hold power. And what's shocking is that this isn't reserved for so-called bad people. Even the most ordinary, kind-hearted person has moments where they bend reality, even slightly, to make themselves feel in charge. The unsettling part is how easily we deny it. We like to think we're good, that only others manipulate. But the truth is, we all do it, in different degrees. And if you're not aware of your own tendencies, someone else who understands this dark side of psychology can use it against you. That's why awareness is key. By recognizing when you're seeking control, you can step back, ground yourself, and make conscious choices instead of falling into unconscious patterns. Because the moment you understand this hidden truth, you not only see others more clearly, you also see yourself. The prison of comparison. One of the deepest traps of the human mind is comparison. From childhood, we are conditioned to measure ourselves against others. Grades in school, appearance, achievements, wealth, status. At first, it seems harmless, even motivating. But slowly, comparison becomes a silent prison, shaping how we see ourselves and how we value our lives. It whispers, "You're not good enough. Look at them. Do better." And the terrifying truth, this voice never stops, no matter how much you achieve. Social media has amplified this prison to unimaginable levels. A simple scroll shows you filtered bodies, luxury lifestyles, vacations, and smiles that seem endless. What we forget is that these snapshots are carefully crafted illusions, highlight reels of someone else's life. Yet our brain, wired for comparison, takes it as reality. You feel smaller, poorer, less attractive, less successful. Suddenly, your life, which might already be full of blessings, feels inadequate, simply because it doesn't match the illusion you've been shown. The dark side of comparison is that it robs you of presence. You stop living your own story and start chasing someone else's script. Think about it. How many dreams have people abandoned because they thought someone else was already better at it? How many people suffer in silence, feeling inferior, when in reality, their life holds beauty others would envy? This is the quiet destruction comparison causes. It doesn't kill quickly, but it erodes confidence, joy, and peace over time. But here's the deeper psychological trick. Society benefits from your insecurity. Entire industries, beauty, luxury, entertainment, profit from keeping you comparing, chasing, and never satisfied. If you felt complete, content, and whole, half the economy would collapse. That's why the system encourages comparison. Because a restless, insecure person is the perfect consumer. The only escape is awareness. When you recognize comparison as a mental prison, you can begin to break free. You realize you don't need to run someone else's race. You only need to master your own. True strength lies in measuring yourself against your past self, not against the illusions of others. Because once you stop comparing, you stop being controlled. And that is the beginning of real freedom. The subtle power of manipulation. One of the darkest and most unsettling aspects of human psychology is our ability to manipulate, sometimes without even realizing we're doing it. Manipulation is not always about grand schemes or malicious plots. Often, it's subtle, invisible, and hidden in everyday interactions. It could be a co-worker framing their words in a way that pressures you into agreeing with them, a friend using guilt to make you act in their favor, or even advertisements that carefully play on your fears and desires. The truth is, humans are wired with an incredible ability to influence one another, and while this can be used positively, like inspiring, motivating, or teaching, it often slips into the darker realm of exploitation. At the core of manipulation lies an understanding of human vulnerabilities. People crave acceptance, belonging, and validation. They want to avoid rejection, embarrassment, and discomfort. Manipulators know this instinctively and design their words and actions to trigger these responses. For example, a simple phrase like, "If you really cared, you'd do this," isn't just a request. It's a psychological weapon, attaching your sense of morality and self-worth to their demand. Suddenly, you're no longer acting freely, but under the pressure of an emotional leash. What makes manipulation so dangerous is how invisible it often feels. Unlike open conflict or clear lies, manipulation can be subtle enough that you don't notice it until much later. By then, you may have given up time, energy, money, or even pieces of your identity. The unsettling part is that manipulation isn't limited to others. We manipulate ourselves too. Think about the excuses you make. "I'll start tomorrow," or "I don't deserve better." These inner lies are forms of self-manipulation, keeping you trapped in cycles of procrastination, doubt, or fear. But here's the empowering part. Awareness is your shield. The moment you begin to recognize manipulation, both from others and from within, you start to regain control. When someone uses guilt or pressure, you can pause, step back, and ask yourself, is this truly my choice, or am I being steered? When you catch your own mind feeding you limiting beliefs, you can reframe them into truths that set you free. The dark side of psychology reveals how easily humans can be influenced, but it also gives us the key to resist. By understanding these tactics, you become less of a puppet to hidden strings and more of a master of your own mind. At this point, you may be wondering, if the dark side of human psychology is so deeply rooted in us, is it even possible to break free from its grip? The truth is, while we can't erase these instincts entirely, we can learn to recognize them, control them, and even turn them into strengths. The first step is awareness. Most people walk through life without realizing how their hidden biases, fears, and desires drive their actions. They think they are in control, but in reality, they are being controlled by their unconscious mind. The moment you shine a light on those shadows, acknowledging your envy, your pride, your tendency to manipulate or to be manipulated, you take away some of their power. Self-awareness doesn't erase darkness, but it stops it from operating undetected. The second step is practicing self-regulation. This means putting distance between your impulses and your actions. For example, when you feel the urge to react out of anger or jealousy, you learn to pause, reflect, and choose a response that serves your long-term growth instead of short-term satisfaction. This is where discipline becomes your shield. In fact, psychologists have found that those who can delay gratification, who can resist giving in to their darker urges, often achieve greater success and happiness. Another powerful strategy is shifting your perspective. Instead of seeing human psychology as something to fear, you can see it as a toolkit. Every human trait, even the dark ones, has a purpose. Fear can protect you. Envy can motivate you to improve. Ambition, when balanced with ethics, can push you to achieve incredible things. The key lies in balance, using these forces consciously instead of letting them use you. Finally, breaking free also means seeking authenticity. The more you embrace your true self, your flaws, your struggles, your strengths, the less you feel the need to wear a mask or hide behind manipulation. Authenticity doesn't make you perfect, but it makes you real, and people are drawn to those who are real. By choosing to live consciously and authentically, you step out of the shadows of hidden psychology and into the light of self-mastery. In the end, the dark side of human psychology is not an enemy to be destroyed. It is a mirror. It shows us who we are at our core, and it challenges us to grow beyond our instincts. The question is, will you let the shadows control you, or will you learn to master them?